helps a lot. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, sure. Like this?
Yeah. One more time.
Okay, sure.
We'll get it. It's a big help. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, that was nice. Once again. Oh, that was close. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
Make
go.
another one. I got it now. So many I can do in a row.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
This is the court where I play a lot of basketball, specifically shoot a lot of three-pointers. It's at the University of Texas, Dallas, in Richardson, Texas. I'm in the process of making 30,000 three-point shots. It's part of a fundraiser for Parkinson's in Africa. The hope is to help raise $1 million for the entire continent, help with terrible conditions with people with Parkinson's. I always come out here by myself, shooting by myself, rebounding my own shots. Today I had the incredible fortune of meeting a freshman student who introduced himself as Nirav from India. You get the idea of what he was doing for me. He loved it, and he did it for 2 straight hours. It was cold, a little rainy, windy. Sunday morning, he was riding a skateboard, saw me, said, "Let's go, come on, I'm encouraging you." Next thing you know, he's rebounding probably hundreds of shots for me. Nirav was inspiring me and encouraging me and giving me strength. I told him why I was doing this, and he loved it. He had a huge heart. No one ever stopped to talk to me when I'm playing basketball there. They have their earbuds on and they walk on by, as most people do today. But not this young man. He paid attention. He saw I was doing something that inspired him. He wanted to be part of that. He thought I was doing something amazing, and I thought he was doing something amazing. I'd never shot this well in my life, and I owe it all to Nirav. Him providing support, encouraging me, strength, just his presence, the fact that someone cared. I kept saying, "Okay, just one more. I know you gotta go." And he kept saying, "Nope, I just want to do this." This is the kind of young man that goes on in life to do whatever it is he wants to do. My hope is that he'll cure Parkinson's. Who knows? People need each other. We can do so much more together. And maybe Nirav even helped raise money for Parkinson's in Africa. He thought he was just going to be skateboarding around on a Sunday morning. He's 18. I'm 53. But I learned such a valuable thing from him today. Just doing little things for people, especially strangers, can have a huge impact on their life. And they in turn can have huge impacts on others' lives. I think Nirav would tell you I impacted his life today. And yet all I had to do was receive his gift. I'm now 15 years into Parkinson's, and I'm still learning and getting better every day because I have these opportunities that everyone should have, with Parkinson's or without.
That's good. You want to shoot some? I'll rebound for you. What? You want me to rebound for you? Okay, let's go. You're gonna be a great coach one day. Teacher, whatever you want to do.
I'm reminded of my favorite story as told by the great Anthony DeMello.
I'm going to tell you one of my favorite stories. You know, sometimes a story says more than a whole day's lecture because it sort of speaks to the depths within us. And this one certainly speaks to mine. This is a story of a guy who is moving out of the village in India, out of his village, and he sees what we in India call a sannyasi. The sannyasi is the wandering mendicant. The sannyasi is the person who, having attained enlightenment, understands that the whole world is his home and the sky is his roof and God is his father and will look after him. So he moves from place to place the way you and I would move from one room of our home to another. Well, here was this wandering sannyasi, and the villager, when he meets him, he said, "I cannot believe this." And the sannyasi says, "What is it you cannot believe?" And the villager says, "I had a dream about you last night. I dreamt that the Lord Vishnu said to me, tomorrow morning you'll leave the village around 11 o'clock and you'll run into this wandering sannyasi. And here I've met you. What else did the Lord Vishnu say to you?" said the sannyasi. And the man said, "He said to me, if the man gives you a precious stone he has, you will be the richest man in the whole world. Would you give me the stone?" So the sannyasi said, "Wait a minute." He rummages in his little sack, knapsack that he had. He said, "Would this be the stone you're talking about?" And the man couldn't believe his eyes, because it was a diamond, the largest diamond in the world. He held it in his hands. He said, "Could I have this?" And the sannyasi said, "Of course, you could take it. I found it in a forest. You're welcome to it." And he went on and sat under a tree in the outskirts of the village. The man grasped this diamond, and how great was his joy. The way ours is, isn't it? The day we really get something we really want. Do you ever stop to ask how long it lasts? You got the girl you wanted, right? You got the boy you wanted, right? You got that car, huh? You got the degree. You were first in the university. How long did the joy last? Let's measure it. I mean that. How many seconds? How many minutes? You get tired of it, don't you? Then you're looking for something else, aren't you? Why don't we study this? As valuable, more valuable than studying the scriptures, because of what good is it to you to study the scriptures and crucify the Messiah on the basis of them, as Jesus was, if you've not understood this, if you've not understood what it means to live and to be free and to be spiritual. Well, so the guy has the diamond, and then instead of going home, he sits under a tree himself. And all day he sits, immersed in thought. And towards evening, he goes to the tree where the sannyasi is sitting, gives him back the diamond, and he says, "Could you do me a favor?" "What?" says the sannyasi. He said, "Could you give me the riches that makes it possible for you to give this thing away so easily?"
And now a meditation I think applies here. I love it. It's by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
And in that moment, something clicked, and I knew that they had to become pure consciousness. That they had to get beyond their body, get beyond their environment, and get beyond time. Because when you become pure consciousness, and we have all the biological and neurological machinery to do this, by the way, you come preloaded with everything you need. You don't need anything else. That when you forget about yourself, when you become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, no time, and you become pure consciousness, a thought impossibility. The moment you are consciousness, now you have dominion over your body. Now you can change something in your environment, and now you can create some future time. And when that happened, we saw their hearts get highly coherent, we saw their brains get highly coherent, and it's kind of an irony. If you want to change something about your body, you gotta forget about your body. You want to change something, problem in your life, you gotta forget about your life. You want to create some future time, you have to forget about time. You have to become no face, no gender, no profession. You have to become pure consciousness. And we saw it over and over again. They just went through the process of observing their thoughts and becoming conscious of their unconscious thoughts because they're no longer being distracted by their environment. Pay attention to their behaviors and their actions and look at the body as the mind and the emotions and master that. We started seeing people having enormous amounts of energy that were stored in their body travel up through their heart and into their brain, and we captured people with a full-on Kundalini experience, full-on ecstasy in their brain. And they were common people just like you. And boy, I tell you what, after that experience, they could care less about their checking account. They could care less about their problems. The moment you become pure consciousness, you forget about yourself. That's my definition of creation. The moment that happens, the brain goes, thank God he's out of the way. Now I can get organized again. The operator is finally gone for a few minutes. All of the adversity in our life is to initiate us into greatness. It's to call out something greater in us. We live by the hormones of stress. We will always try to force the outcome. We'll always try to push and make it happen because we are matter trying to change matter. The brain naturally gets organized. The hormones of stress, when we are under the gun of the fight or flight nervous system, the brain and the heart move out of rhythm. It's like a group of people playing the drums all at the same time with no rhythm. It's noise. So then to change them is to be greater than your environment, to be greater than the conditions in your world, to be greater than the circumstances in your life. And every great person in history knew this, whether it was William Wallace or Mahatma Gandhi or Joan of Arc or Martin Luther King, the Wright brothers, to have a vision, an idea, a dream. You and I have been hypnotized and conditioned into believing that we need a reason for joy, that we need a reason to give thanks, we need a reason to feel inspired. That's the old model of reality, of Newtonian physics, of cause and effect. How do you become supernatural? You got to start doing what's unnatural. When there's a crisis and everybody is in lack, that's the time to give. When everybody else is in fear, that's the time to demonstrate courage. When everybody else is hostile and judging, that's the time to show compassion. And if we can continuously do over and over again what is so unnatural, sooner or later will become supernatural.
Following is taken from a conversation between two leading neuroscientists of all things, Andrew Huberman and Lisa Feldman Barrett.
We are regulating each other's nervous systems. The ideal situation is one in which we are not taxed, where maybe even people, and just being around them or just knowing that they are in our lives provides a sort of deposit to...
Yeah, it's a savings. It provides a savings. Yeah. I would say the best thing for a human nervous system is another human. And the worst thing for a human nervous system is also another human. And so you really want to be around the people who make you the best version of yourself that you could be. We are the caretakers of each other's nervous systems. And it doesn't matter what your opinion is. Like, it doesn't, that's how we evolved as a species. And so you get to decide, what kind of a person are you going to be? Research that if you put people together who don't even know each other, but if they like each other and they have a sense of trust, even after a couple of minutes, they start to synchronize. There's also research to show that in your personal life, when you do random acts of kindness for people, or when you're kind in general, you derive also a body budgeting benefit from that. Even though all the research backs up what I'm saying, it doesn't quite describe the feeling of when someone is just really happy because you just gave them a little surprise.